Hi everybody, I'm Johanna, illustrator, ink evangelist and creator of colouring books. In today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to colour some bluebells and berries in Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. So we'll be working on this feast scene here, and the first thing you have to do, as always, is pop a couple of sheets of blank paper behind the page that you're working on, just to stop any transfer of ink and any indentation. That's us all prepped, let's get colouring. For this tutorial, you will need your copy of Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, your Staedtler Karat Aquarelle watercolour pencils, some Ergosoft colouring pencils, and I'll write the numbers of each pencil that I use in the show notes below. Also a dark blue Triplus Fineliner pen, a white gel pen, a colourless blending pencil, and a paintbrush. So for this first bluebell technique, we're gonna put a first layer of light blue, and it'll be dark at the top around that sort of green leafy bit, and fade to pretty much white paper at the bottom of the petals. Next, we're going to layer over a darker colour of blue. I'm just going to use my blending pencil over the top of these layers. And then a bit more of the darker blue. I'm going to use the pale blue for these little teardrops under here. And a quick flash of green for this bit up here. And lastly, I'm going to use my Fineliner pen to just add some little dotty details around these edges. Then for these ones up here, I'm going to use my watercolour pencil to do the outer edge first. And you could just leave them like that if you like, it's quite a nice pencil technique, or add a bit of darker blue at these tips. So again, you could leave it like that, the two colour watercolour pencil dry, or grab a brush with a little bit of water and wet the pencil and start moving it about a little. There we go. So that's really 3 different ways of doing bluebells with the same colouring pencils. You can either do a single colour, the 2 colour dry, or 2 colour and add the water. For these little red currants, I'm going to use my dark red. We're going to imagine the light's coming in this way and hitting this top right hand side of the berry. So we'll colour the bottom left side the darkest, and then just get gradually lighter as we go up here. And it's fine again to leave a little crescent of white as the reflection. And I'm gonna grab a Burnisher pencil and just push this colour in. So the Burnisher pencil makes it nice and shiny, whereas the blender pencil sort of softens it. So this means you can get a really vibrant red as opposed to softening it down to a pink. Now I've left these little white crescents, but I'm also going to use my white gel pen and just strengthen in this highlight. So that's the berry, and then for the stalks, I'm going to use a darker green for the little knobbly bit at the top of the berry. And then my paler green, a bit like a blending pencil. So that's our first berry technique, those little red currants. For this little raspberry, once again the light's going to be coming around sort of this angle. So as you can see in the one that I did earlier, the white highlights are up there. So I'm going to grab my red and colour the bottom left of each of these little domes of the raspberry. This is a Burnisher pencil, and I'm just again going to go over all these individual little circles and push that colour in so that we can then go back in with our red and increase the intensity. Then lastly, I'm going to use my watercolour pencil just to add a little bit more. The little circles at the bottom at this side don't need as much of a highlight, if any. Don't forget to do these little bits in between. And then we can use our green just to add a really bright little crown. I always think 2 shades of green look nicer than one. And then we can grab our white gel pen and just increase these little shiny bits. And then I think I might just use a really dark purple to darken in these lower ones and give the impression of shadow. So there we go. That's how to colour a little raspberry. So there you go, there are some tips and tricks for tackling the forest feast scene in Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. And sorry about this rogue little blue leaf down here. My little girl Evie was helping me when I was colouring all the sheets for this tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.